Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. This Tutorial Tuesday I will be showing you what you can do with scrap clay. And I know you guys have heard me multiple times say never throw away your clay, your extra scrap clay. If you're building canes, keep it in a pile somewhere, keep it in a bucket. I'll show you right here how I store mine. Yes, I do have a lot of scrap clay. So I'm going to show you 3 different things that you can do with your scrap clay and make it into some kind of decorative cane. And then I'm even going to show you one thing that you can do with your scrap clay canes. So this first method I will be showing you is the basic marbling technique, which is basically just getting a lump of clay, doesn't matter the colors, rolling it out into a snake, combining the ends, twisting and rolling over and over again until you're happy with how the colors are marbled. And if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I really hope you enjoy. Welcome to the family. So happy to have you. If you enjoy it, give it a big old thumbs up. You guys know the works. Alright, so I'm probably going to play some music here because marbling, like I said, is the easiest one that we will be doing. Just rolling it into a snake, combining the ends, twisting, and rolling it some more over and over again. And then I'll show you too how I make it into a sheet. So, hope y'all enjoy it. And there we have it. Again, you can use any colors you want. You can never go wrong with marbling scrap clay, no matter what, it looks cool. Right here I'll show you a couple more examples that I've done with marbling with different colors of scrap clay. As you can see, you can get a different effect, but no matter what, it always looks cool. The next unscrap your clay technique I am going to show you is the Sculpting cane. The Sculpting cane is a technique that originally was developed by someone named Ellis Sculpey, and you create this cane with scrap clay. And again, it doesn't matter what colors you use. I chose to use balls of scrap clay that had brighter colors, and then one that had like darker colors like that orange one. I usually keep my scrap clay kind of balled up depending what I'm doing, so the color scheme is kind of there. But for this, you can just take a big old clump of scrap clay, and we're going to just roll it into a ball to compact it. And then we are going to take the tissue knife and we're going to cut it up into little chunks. And then we're going to mix it all up in our hands. That way the colors of the different scrap clay chunks are kind of distributed. So I'm just chopping one way, then I'll turn it, chop it the other way, mix it up, and keep chopping until I think that I have the colors kind of, mixed into one another. I really don't know why, but I find this part so enjoyable. It's so weird. I think it's maybe because I don't cook often, so I don't chop things like vegetables and fruit, like normal people or normal wives with 3 children. My husband cooks, y'all. But I just find it so enjoyable to chop into the clay like this. I don't have to worry about thin slices or making even cuts. I just get to chop it, and it just feels cool going against the blade. I don't know. I'm weird, but I do find it very enjoyable. And see, I'm just cutting small chunks, then I'm gonna mix it. The goal here is to just not have big clumps of clay that are the same color, because you don't want to have like a bulk of yellow there or a bulk of pink and then the other colors be spread out. It just looks better if they're all nice and cut finely and mixed in and distributed. Once you feel like all the colors are mixed and distributed, we're going to take a sheet of regular black clay, and most of all my clay is all Premo, including this black piece, and I have it rolled out on a medium setting. I believe I did the 4th to largest setting, just a medium setting, doesn't have to be any particular one. And I'm just cutting it into 4 squares. The squares do not have to be perfect. And then I'm going to take handfuls of my pile of scrap and place them on top of each black square. Again, these do not have to be perfectly even. It's not like too huge of a tragedy to have more clay on one square and less on another. It's gonna be okay. So we're going to put handfuls, of the scrap clay on the black squares, and then we are going to stack them. looks like a big pile of a mess right now, doesn't it? I know. But just wait! It gets awesome. So now that I have them stacked, I'm going to just kind of press down and get them all combined and compact, get them sticking together, and I'm going to form a rectangular log, and I'm just doing that by rolling it over to each side and pressing down so it's a flat surface. And I want the bottom to stay black though. I want to keep it in that same way that I stacked them. So the bottom's going to stay black, and I want to keep those little rows that I put in there with the black in between. And we're just going to reduce this while maintaining that rectangular shape. And now I'm just going to take my roller and I'm going to roll off the top and the bottom and the sides just to kind of thin it out. Once you get it to about this size, just to where you can cut it in half and still end up with decent squares really, you're just gonna cut it right in half, doesn't have to be perfect. And now if you look on the inside, you have this really awesome different colors. It's just a really pretty design. And then I like to stack them. And then you can keep reducing the exact same way. Or you can end it right here if you're happy with this effect. But I like to, stack it once, then combine it, reduce again, and then stack it one more time. So then I'll end up with 4 different layers of that original rectangle that we made. And I just love the way it makes it look. So here I'm just going to reduce it again while maintaining the rectangular shape. And then I will cut it in half again and then combine, just like we did the first time. And I did decide to cut it in half one more time, because the more you cut it and stack it on top of each other, just the more spread out the colors get. Like, look at that. I just needed it one more time, and now that you have this combined, you can reduce it to whatever size you want, like for whatever size you want the actual cane to be. But I absolutely love this dropple method for scrap clay. It's just one of those things, just like the marble, you just can never go wrong. But in my opinion, this is just more of a perfect, more organized background. I use it for the backgrounds to my flower diamond painting pens that I make. You can use it basically just as sheets too for all sorts of things, which I will show you at the end of the video here. actually make a diamond painting pen pillow out of this cane here. So yeah, this is just another one of those ones that you just can't go wrong with. So yeah, once you're happy with the stacking and you like how the colors are spread out, then you can just reduce it again, but this time just reduce it to whatever size you're wanting to have for your cane. And here I'm just rolling it out just to flatten the ends, just to get it a nice square shape for when I cut it, because I like my canes to be nice and even as possible and compact, because air bubbles and polymer clay just do not get along. So that's all I'm doing here. And it does help with reducing, especially square canes too. So I just flip it and go over all sides and then just roll it a little bit. Once you have it to whatever size you want, feel free to cut strips. I'm cutting off a few just to kind of show you, and you can lay these little strips that you cut off the cane on. You can make it into a sheet, you can put it on a pen just like this, whatever you want to do. And again, at the video I'm going to show you how to put it on a sheet and then make that pen pillow. Isn't that cool though? The third and final method I will be showing you in this episode of Unscrap Your Clay is probably the more complicated of the three. I will be showing you how to create a kaleidoscope cane out of scrap clay. And this method I did learn from Jessima Tutorials. I can link her channel below. She is awesome. Now for this I did 4 piles. Yeah, and this is just my take on her method, but yeah, she does an amazing job. But for this I took 4 piles of scrap clay. Now you'll notice these are a little bit more uniform, which is why when I put the scrap clay in my bucket, I kind of ball them together after each use, just so like you can see here, I think this was the scrap from the American flag pen that I'm cutting up right now. So they're kind of a little bit uniform, and you'll want to have them semi the same for each pile. Just for this particular one, you just want to make sure each ball that you start out with has similar colors, but each individual ball is different from one another. So like you can see, I have on the left a mainly blue scrap ball, and then I have a darker one with blacks and golds and silvers, pink, and then a red and white. So like those are different main colors, but yeah, so and that's just because with the kaleidoscope cane, the cool part is the uniformity at the end. So that's why it's important to have different piles to start out with that are different from one another. And once we cut off the little bits and pieces of each ball and mix them together and we think they're spread out good, then what I'm going to do is make it into a cylinder. And I do that just by compacting it. Once I think the colors are distributed, make it into a ball and then kind of roll it. And then I can press down each end just to keep it that cylinder shape. But I want to make sure all those little pieces of clay that I was chopping up are compact. And then I'm going to do that for each individual scrap ball that I have here. And you'll want to kind of think about what order you want these colors to be in. That's why I did some switcheroos there. I didn't want the pink next to the red, I just wanted them to be spread out, but that'll make more sense here on the next step. I decided that this one needed a little touch of purple, so I just grabbed some purple scrap clay to mix in with this pile. We have our cylinders for each of our piles here. We're going to make sure they're in the order that we're wanting for the kaleidoscope. And I decided to do a little switcheroo here. I just didn't want one end to end in red and the other in pink, so just switch those. And then we're going to combine all of these cylinders into one sheet. So yeah, just make sure the colors are in the order that you're wanting before you do all the combining and jazz. So to combine them, I'm just kind of pressing down. I'm going to go through all the ends here and just make sure they kind of come together. And then I'm going to use my roller and flatten it out. And then I'll put it through my pasta machine on the thickest setting, long ways. And now I'm going to go down 3 settings of my pasta machine and get a thinner strip. Once I have my thin strip, I'm going to clean off the ends just by cutting a nice straight line, getting rid of the extras and putting them back into the scrap bucket. And then I'm going to be cutting thin slices and stacking them on top of each other to create a log or a brick, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to, when I slice it and then stack it on top of each other, I'm trying to line up these colors just as best as I can, because again, it just gives you a better end result in the kaleidoscope. And this is what it looks like so far. You'll see the colors are kind of together. So now we're going to take this log here that we made, excuse me, and we're going to shape it into a triangle and reduce it. And when you shape it into the triangle and reduce, the trick is to not let it distort. Try to keep those lines of colors there the best you can. Shape it into a triangle just by squeezing the end or pinching the end that you want to be the tip of the triangle and expanding the bottom part that you want to be the triangle, and then making it into a long triangle cane. And we want the triangle cane to be long enough to cut an even 6 slices to form into our kaleidoscope at the end. Once you have it long enough to cut your even 6 pieces of the triangle cane, you can just cut off the distorted ends and then cut out your even 6 pieces. Once your 6 pieces are cut out, then you are ready to combine the triangles. And make sure you are taking your time on this part. For the kaleidoscope, again, uniformity is key. That's what makes it unique and awesome. So take your time, make sure you're lining them up perfectly. And then you should be creating a hexagon at the end. Isn't that cool? So now you can reduce it just in this shape if you want to. I like to reduce it as a square. It's just easier for me to reduce. I just jumped ahead a little bit, and here I am reducing it as a square. And then you can keep them in your square pieces, or you can even reform them as triangles. You can do pretty much anything you want with this. The more you form them as triangles and put them together, it just gives you a different design every time. It's so cool. This is another one of my favorite scrap clay techniques. I am so thankful that I found that tutorial from Jessima Tutorial, so that's awesome. Like, look how cool it is as a square. And then you can just line them up just as tiles, or I'm going to show you here what you could do if you just reshape them as triangles. now I've reshaped this as another triangle cane again, and I'm going to cut 6 little slices off and just combine them as its own little tile, and to show you how the design can differ. You know, what you do with that ending shape is completely up to you. You can get a different design every time. I love it. There's so many things you can do with one kaleidoscope scrap cane. It's awesome. Now I'm going to show you how I made a pen pillow with that Sculpey cane that we made earlier, the second one that we made. So to make the pen pillow, I just took another ball of random scrap clay, and I'm just going to be forming it and trying to get to the right size, and then I'm going to cut up slices of the Sculpey cane, and I will be laying them on top of this ball of clay that I'm flattening out, and it's going to kind of make a sheet of it. So I'm going to speed up the video just a little bit here just to end it, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun. Scrap clay is so much fun to work with. Never throw away your clay. Never. Don't do it. I promise. You'll regret it. You'll need it, and you'll look back and be like, man, I should have listened to Crashly. Oh my gosh. So just don't be that person. You know what I mean? But anyway, there are so many more things that you can do with scrap clay other than the 3 things that I showed you in this video. That's why I did decide to make Unscrap Your Clay. Hey, Kerwin thought of that name, by the way. So Kerwin gets props for coming up with Unscrap Your Clay. Anyway, there are many other things that you can do with Unscrap Your Clay, so I'm making it into a kind of little mini series. So this will be episode 1. So again, if you enjoyed, thumbs up please. But I'm going to speed up the video just a little bit just to show you how I made this pen pillow. It is awesome, very easy to do. Anybody can do it. It's cool. But I'll speed it up from here. Again, hope you guys enjoy.